Greetings! The 80s, what a decade that was. Brilliant music, very unique, with the likes of Human League, all the synthwave artists. Some of you might recall actually that a little while ago I had a chat with my friend Dave in his studio, and we were talking about recreating that synthwave vibe, but new music, so not doing covers of the old favourites, but actually coming up with new stuff in that 80s vibe. So I'm going to share with you the creative process that I've used. Let's play the track.
Time machine. Break cycle. Looking into history, so many cycles that we see, like the game loop going round. Utopian start, then dystopian fails. Let's get in the time machine, go back to start and change the scene. We don't have to be on repeat. Maybe our purpose is higher. Perhaps it's time to realize that we have the power. Until that we have technical means to go back to the moment, to break those chains, pre-programmed scenes that cause the cycle to go round and round and round and round. Now we've looked into the code, we've seen the rise and golden years, swiftly followed by corruption, enslaved nations, enslaved tears. Let's get in the time machine, go back to start and change the scene. We don't have to be on repeat. Maybe our purpose is higher. Perhaps it's time to realize that we have the power. And now that we have technical means to go back to the moment, to break those chains, pre-programmed scenes that cause the cycle to go round and round and round and round, then 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 round and round. Time machine. Break the cycle. Let's get in the time machine, go back to start and change the scene. Time machine. Break the cycle. Let's get in the time machine, go back to start and change the scene. We don't have to be on repeat. Maybe our purpose is higher. Perhaps it's time to realize that we have the power. And now that we have technical means to go back to the moment, to break those chains, pre-programmed scenes that cause the cycle to go round and round and round and round.
I thought it would be more value to you guys if I just talk through my creative process, in case it inspires some of you guys to do the same. The creative process on this track really just started with an idea. I've been very interested in time travel. I know it sounds weird. Stuff like that, Doctor Who, the concept of going back in time, changing the past to make for a better present. Those sort of things interest me. So I started with a piece of paper and just wrote the lyrics before I started, so I just had half an idea of what I was about before I started playing the digital workstation. So we got the track up in Reason. I tend to use these blocks. I find them really good for just quickly structuring a track, and then I modify from there. But it's all played in. The only bit not organic, as it were, is I generated a vocal in Synthesizer V. This is the program, and you use this to play in notes, which you then put the syllables of what you want to sing, and you drag them up and down like a piano roll. I temporarily use this June Nocturne singer just there. Yeah, you got it. That gave me this, and this was the starting point to get our clone Steve Vane to sing it.
So many cycles that we see, like a game loop going round. Utopian start and dystopian fails.
So you see, that's almost usable out the box, but we felt it was a little bit generic. Myself and Dave had already made a clone for a singer called Steve Vane, which we wanted to create a uniformity amongst tracks, so hopefully this imaginary singer Steve Vane could get a following. So we then used this to convert into Steve Vane, and to do that I used Kit's AI, which is a voice cloning, voice changing system, which I'll show you that. So this is the Synthwave V generated file in Kit's, converted to Steve Vane, me and Dave's model of vocal we made for the project. So this is how the original.
Let's get in the time machine.
Yeah, so that's Synth V generated, usable in its own right.
Let's get in the time machine.
And that's Steve Vane. A bit more character and grit in the voice, a bit more 80s we feel. First of all, the bass, which is important. This is a standard plugin that comes with Reason called Monotone. It going through a Scream 4 distortion unit to give it a bit more harmonic content, and then a limiter. Drums, I used ML Drums, which is not standard with Reason, but it is a free plugin you can download. So there's your bass, and your kick and your snare. Trying to get that post-punk era deep sort of snare sound, slightly ringy. The arpeggiated sounds that you hear in the track, the main arpeggiated sounds, I've used a monophonic arpeggiator that comes with Reason, which is, let's see if I can play a bit for you. It's one of the main themes of the track. So that arpeggiator comes with the actual Reason itself, and that is powering a monotone bass synthesizer, which I'm not using for bass. So it shows you it's quite a versatile plugin. Drums, I used quite a lot of this plugin, quite a few instances. It's called Rhythmic, and it comes with Reason, and it does different percussions I used it for. So for the hats, we used Kong, which is a standard Reason drum machine, comes with Reason. It's doing like these 808 style hats, which is good for this type of music. And Reason comes with a lot of 808 kits, all as the standard presets. So it's just a standard preset one, but it does the job for this track quite nicely. So that's what we use there. I've made quite extensive use of this module, or plugin, or rack extension as they call them, that comes with Reason as standard. It's called Europa. I used the Europa for the rhythmic synth sound that's running in the background, as well as some of the background sort of droney sounds that sound a bit sort of Dave Bowie-ish. So that's the Europa. And I also used the Maelstrom. I've combined the Europa and the Maelstrom. And Maelstrom's another standard synth, comes with Reason for some of those droney sounds. So really, they're all the main things. I used a couple of Reason samplers, no special samplers, just normal standard Reason ones. I actually used this and adjusted the parameters so that it was more stabby sounding for kind of like an Art of Noisy type effect, which plays at the end. So that's just a standard choir patch with the decay and the sustain and the release adjusted to make it a bit more stabby. So that was that. Some strings have been done using this plugin. It's called Stringwork. It's not a standard one. I actually bought that one, but they're quite reasonably priced and they're quite good for filling out a track with strings, I find. So I use that. So yeah, essentially, to keep this brief, I would say that 90% of the sound making devices in the track are all standard Reason, propeller heads Reason issue stuff that you get when you buy Reason. And same with the EQs and things like that, and the reverb, that's standard, which hopefully might be quite encouraging to people that don't want to spend a load of money on plugins and wonder what they can actually do with the standard stuff.